rush 4. Plenty of time for John. Now squeezes, steps up in the pocket. LA can run. Inside the 10. Head first. He falls off the 5-yard line.
Manning out of the gun. Manning lets it fly. It's caught by Thomas. There's the record for Peyton Manning.
Rushing 4, ball comes out of the hands of Newton. It's on the ground and still on the ground. Picked up by T.J. Ward at the 4-yard line.
And here we go. First snap of the overtime. The Broncos have been in 3 overtime games this year. They won them all. Got him at the 40. It's Thomas at the 50. Stiff arm got him 3 to the 30. To the 20. Thomas to the 10. Denver's going on to New England. They win it on the first.
Nothing wrong with Orange Blue Podcast.
What is going on? Welcome back, Broncos country. Welcome back, NRW crew. I am your host, Isaiah Henderson, or Nothing Rhymes. With me today is who I call the off-season expert because he's in the know, because he knows, Mr. Boggins. Mr. Boggins, thank you for joining us today in replacement of Johnny. How are we doing today?
Great. Expert is not the term I would use. I've just looked on Twitter before, and I have seen. I've watched the footballs a couple times in my life. That's the extent of my knowledge. I know that there's someone named John Manning that may have thrown a football once into a field goal. So, besides that, yeah. I'd call myself an expert.
Like I said, an expert. Yeah,
absolutely.
So how's everybody doing today? Thank you guys all for joining in today. Johnny couldn't be here with us today because he had some work things to take care of, but he will be back next Thursday. If you are in here, like this video, subscribe to this channel, and share the URL with your friends. Let's get the word out there. Welcome back to another episode of Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue. You can catch the flagship podcast, MHRT, every Tuesday at 7654, not 3, excuse me. You can catch Nothing Rhymes every Thursday at 7654 as well. And also be on the lookout for the new show, Rough Draft, which is a pre-recorded show based off of potential draft prospects, which gets recorded every Friday. So be on the lookout for that, because a new episode this week is coming out for a new draft prospect. Last week it was about Sauce Gardner, so you're gonna have to wait to find out who it is and see the film. So we're gonna jump into the comments. We've got Avatar in. He says, "What's up, Broncos country?" Avatar always first one in, last one out. Mo Bad in the house. He said, "What's good? What's good evening, Broncos country?" EJ's in the house. He says, "What's up, Broncos country?" So, Mr. Boggins, what is on your radar today?
Combine. A lot of combine stuff just started up. We had nothing too crazy yet. Actually, currently the QBs are throwing. So I'm totally not multitasking and watching that at the same time, because I'd never do that. However, yeah, I mean, we've had wide receivers have ran, tight ends, done bench and whatnot, and also ran. Nothing too crazy yet. The highest 40 time for everybody that likes the 40 times is a guy named Austin. What did I say? I think I was looking at Calvin Austin. He had 4.32. Had like the second longest broad jump and the second highest vertical as well. He's a little guy. He's 5'9", but I don't think he's gonna blow up the NFL or anything, but he's been winning the combine so far in the early stages, and now the quarterbacks are just throwing their basic routes.
Well, I've noticed that you've had a lot of players this year, injuries or whatnot, aren't participating in the combine, but are doing the interviews. I've noticed that you've had an issue with that. Can you explain why that is?
I mean, I think as not necessarily because of their injuries, like certain injuries, that's fine. That's fine. But it's already pretty tailored to make you look good, and then they want to do the pro. They usually want to wait till their pro day to when they can really make themselves look good with like their own receivers and their own coaches and whatever, and their own home stadium or practice facilities and whatnot. I don't know. I just think more as a fan, you just want to see like who you're trying to look at and how they throw. You know what I mean? Like in like a not perfect situation, because like all of these receivers that they're throwing to, they most likely have never thrown to in their life. And I understand that you want to build chemistry with someone, but I want to see how you adjust to something like that, because you never know when your receivers go down, you're into third string and have less chemistry with them, and you want to see how you adjust. You know what I mean? Like, and so I mean, and specifically as a fan, I just I want to watch them throw more and know more than not. So some of them I'll have to wait till pro day. Like Matt Corral is still working over the ankle injury, and there's quite a few. There's quite a few of them. I'm surprised Malik Willis isn't going to run because I feel like that's his edge, and maybe he just doesn't have. He has nothing to prove there. But I feel like that's something you could kind of nail home at that point. Like you could kind of just like get the quick. You could have the best 40 time, and like the combine was his to really show off at essentially, because he has the biggest arm, he's the fastest, the most mobile, and he already looked decently good at the Senior Bowl, and so I think this could have really driven it home, and where he could have potentially got that top spot as far as like first QB off the board. But he I believe he's still throwing, but he's not running. But he's kind of pulling like a Lamar Jackson, but Lamar Jackson had a lot more people saying you should try receiver rather than quarterback. Like a lot of people were like, are you sure you don't want to? Yeah, we're pushing for him to move to receiver instead of being a quarterback. And so that's one of the main reasons that he didn't run, is because he didn't want to, he wanted it to all be about his arm, all be about him being a quarterback to show how serious he was. But like,
well, he changed that narrative, because now that conversation is not having with Malik Willis. And speaking of Malik Willis, Travis Tarbox, welcome. He's in the comments. He says, evening, fellas. I'm hoping we draft Malik Willis, no doubt. Just saw a clip of him helping a homeless person outside the Colts Stadium. High character guy, definite leader. So I mean, him not running, yeah, that definitely gave him the competitive edge. But definitely the video of him going viral, of him helping that guy, really speaks to the character. And I'm wondering if that's the reason why people are skipping the combine. And I always thought these things were mandatory. That everybody went to get as high as become a draft prospect as possible. But now they're picking and choosing and saying, hey, you have the film, nothing's changed, this is what it is, I'm going to pick and choose what I want to do. But it seems like they're definitely geared toward the interviews, and they're definitely focusing on communication between the coaches and the players and the announcers and the players. So I'm just a curious situation as to where the NFL is moving.
Well, it's very agent driven, right? It's very like your agent will tell you, like, a lot of these scouts are saying this about you. Let's do this to show this kind of thing. So there's a lot of reasoning behind it a lot of the time, and so that's kind of what it is a lot of the time. Like the Kenny Pickett thing with the hands. He actually did measure. And he was a whole 8.5. Like beforehand, pun intended. It was going around that it was 8.25, which is like insanely small,
right?
And it turned out to be 8.5. And one thing you guys can do at home that's kind of fun, if you take a basic 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, like your basic printer paper, and you go put your hands from like one side to the other, not like long ways, but like across the other way. If it touches like one thumb to here, like show you. So like if you had like a piece of paper and then you put one hand here and then stretch it, if it goes more than the paper, then you're more than 8.5, because it's 8.5
by 10.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So it's kind kind of fun to see if you have bigger hands than Kenny Pickett. That'll be a fun game in the future. Like if we draft him, it's like, ooh, do I have bigger hands than Kenny Pickett? No.
Well, George Payton came out and he said that the hand size is a big deal. So that kind of was something, not a shot across the bow at Kenny Pickett, but it's something he mentioned that people understood.
The main thing, I know that some people think it's stupid, and to a certain point, like you watch the tape and you're like, of course he can play football, right? But the problem is, one, you already see him wearing gloves. Like he throws with gloves. He does Teddy Bridgewater, and Teddy Bridgewater does that because he has smaller hands. It's not just throwing the football. Like it's one, the football in the NFL is bigger than in college. Two, you depending on where you go, like weather affects it greatly, right? You have smaller hands, you're not going to be able to grip as well. Three, you have pass rushers coming, you get hit, right? You get hit, the better chance you have of holding onto the ball. If your hands out here and you have like 10 little baby hands, it's going to be harder to grip onto a ball than it is if you have big old massive hands that you can really.
You think that knocks him out of the first round? You think
the
hands alone knocks him out of the first round?
No. I don't think he's. I think he'll probably go. I don't know. I've heard a lot about Carolina liking him, but then I've also heard that they are absolutely going off after offensive linemen. So I would say he'd probably go. I'd say him or Malik is probably going to be the first off the board.
I know Pittsburgh had great interest in Malik Willis, and that's one thing I was looking at when I was in the mock draft today was a trade back with Pittsburgh is definitely a possibility. Pittsburgh drafts number 20, and I heard the name on some free agent quarterbacks, Mitchell Trubisky, and also that they're interested in Malik Willis as well. So that's definitely a potential that George Payton might do if we decide to get a quarterback some other way in free agency, and the Steelers want to trade up. That's definitely an option. Yeah. So I know that they're interested in Malik Willis. Dave Full Glassman in the house. He says, "Hola, que paso? What's up, Dave?" Rich is in the house. He says, "Johnny, you cut your beard." So that was for you, Mr. Boggins.
Oh yeah, I know. Mine's not quite as big as Johnny's by a long shot.
Georgia GA Beathouse 99. He says, "Is this live?"
Oh yeah.
Broncos breakdown. He seems to know you personally. What's up, guys? What's up, Bronco Bill?
Update my posture. Absolutely not.
Do you know who that is?
Huh? No,
who that is?
I don't know who Gabe is. Or no, Gabe at the house. No, Gabe
at House 99 or GA Beat House 99.
All right. Well, my fiance would probably love it if I adjusted my posture, but she's not here right now. Okay?
I'd probably my army injury from my back injury from the army would probably go away if my posture was better. But I was like, let's let you guys broke me. Now it's time to pay me. So what is there's 1,000 options that we can go at number 9. There's 1,000 options to go in free agency. And I think all these draft picks that we could potentially getting at number 9, I think those questions will be answered through free agency. But as of right now, free agency doesn't open until March 16th. You're on the board, Mr. Boggins, number 9. What are you doing?
Well, since we're probably not getting Aaron Rodgers anymore. Whatever. Yeah, I like the idea of trading back. I just don't know if there will be an opportunity for it. I understand that like Pittsburgh may want to trade up, but I don't know. I just don't feel like there's a quarterback in this draft to really trade up to 9 for. Like the amount of points you'd have to use from going from where 20 to 9 or whatnot is quite a lot. And I don't know if there's really a quarterback necessarily worth it, but if they would want to, absolutely, I will definitely trade back. Other than that, I've been getting convinced. I've been convincing myself lately that cornerback is probably where I'd want to go 9, just because of how deep the edge class is. Like the edge class is really deep. The tackle class is really deep. I wouldn't mind a tackle as well, especially if like Ikwanu fell. But yeah, I think I've convinced myself more towards cornerback, potentially edge, depending on who's available. Like if because I did hear was Albright was saying that actually Thibodeau might not go as high as people think. Like I've seen him as low as 6. Now, if that continues to get maybe to 9, do that.
Absolutely. I mean, if he definitely falls, absolutely. I haven't seen one pundit announcement mock draft where he falls. Yeah. He's going off. It's, what have I seen? Evan O'Neal, Aiden Hutchinson, and Kayvon Thibodeau are 1, 2, and 3, and most of them. I mean, you have Detroit drafting their safety as well, but I haven't seen Kayvon Thibodeau drop. I've seen Sauce Gardner, who I'm a big fan of, coming to us at 9. I've definitely seen David Ajobo come to us at 9. But I was watching film today on a guy that I really like. I'm really pounding the table for, especially if we get him at 9 or if we trade back. I have to do research on I think you said Aquano.
Icky
tackle. Yeah, but I did watch film on Trevor Penning. His highlight videos at the Senior Bowl and one-on-one practices were definitely he's an aggressive mauler. And I think looking at the scouting report, he's definitely a guy that played some right tackle. So he's kind of a swing tackle. So I think, he's 6'6", 330 coming out of Northern Iowa. So I think you draft him and put him at right tackle. I think that solves the reason being in this scenario. George Payton, there's a report that came out that George Payton is talking to Bryce Callahan's agents. Mm-hmm. So they're trying to get a long-term deal signed. That in of itself would take away, in my opinion, the number 9 cornerback pick, because you have Ronald Darby coming up on his second year of his 3-year contract. Bryce Callahan just getting renewed a new contract in PS2 on the second year of his rookie contract. So
I wouldn't take that away. I wouldn't, because Darby's going to be going into a second guaranteed year, but then after that year is.
Well, then you have free agency. And if that's the case, the way I'm looking at it is right now guaranteed holes, guaranteed needs. Mm-hmm. And if Ronald Darby, Bryce Callahan does get re-signed for a long-term contract, at that point in time, DB is not a glaring need. Now, with that being said, I'm starting to see more and more reports that and the consensus is that we're going to sign a free agent edge. NFL Network had a report saying Randy Gregory from the Cowboys. I don't know. He's a defensive end. He's not an edge, but he's definitely a plausible option. I like Chandler Jones. I know I was talking to Mundungus earlier. He likes Chandler Jones. But John and I were also talking earlier about Hassan Reddick from the Carolina Panthers. Excuse me. He had 11 sacks last year. Edge rusher, 11 sacks. Carolina Panthers had a top 10 defense. He's on the cheaper side. He's a free agent. He may not command as much as Chandler Jones. So with the possible re-signing of Bryce Callahan and a free agent edge, that takes away the cornerback and edge position right there. And I think the only glaring thing, and I start to agree with you more and more, because you're the one that told me that Massey may not be the guy because he's not as athletic. And in order to fit this new offensive outside zone scheme, you're absolutely 110% correct. He's not. And then, going into the draft, looking at Trevor Penning, who's athletic, fast, and a mauler, I can just imagine putting him on that right side with Quinn Miners and Trevor Penning on that outside zone scheme. It's just, and when I saw that and I looked into the film, Trevor Penning's my guy. I mean, just him and Quinn Miners are just nasty maulers who just want to pancake everybody. Mm-hmm. You put them in front of Javonte Williams or Melvin Gordon, and I think you got a winning combination.
Yeah, I mean, I like Trevor Penning. He reminds me a lot of Garrett Bowles, actually. Like very aggressive, very like trying to throw dudes into poles at the Senior Bowl, and like he doesn't care if the play's over. We'll just keep getting on you. He did get blown up by Kyron Williams pretty bad at the Senior Bowl, I think. or maybe it wasn't Kyron Williams. I remember.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
One of the improvements that this city has to do is his pad level sometimes
Yeah.
gets too high.
Yeah.
And guys in the NFL will launch you with one arm.
Mhm.
So that's definitely an improvement that that has to be made.
But it's definitely an investment that, I mean, I've seen him as high as 6, I think, but I wouldn't go 6 with that.
I haven't seen. I think because I wasn't sure where he would fall, so I went through a bunch of
I think DJ put him at 6.
I did a bunch of mock drafts. I think I've seen he falls in the middle between 16 and 21 is where I've mostly seen him. So I mean, if you're trading back with the Steelers at pick 20, and they want to move up to number 9, I'm taking. What I did was I gave them, I think, a 2023 third round pick, and I got their 20th slot and their this year's second round. So gave the Broncos 3 second round picks this year, which brings me to the next question. Broncos Bill says, should the Broncos draft a QB in, say, second or third round? Now, here's the interesting thing. In the mock drafts that I did, Carson Strong and Desmond Ridder both fell to the second round. So when I traded back with Pittsburgh, I got Trevor Penning for right tackle, and then at pick 40, Carson Strong and Desmond Ridder were both there, and I took Desmond Ridder. Me personally, I can't see a guy at number 9 in this draft that I would take. I think second round, definitely, if we're getting a free agent quarterback, definitely a second round guy to definitely develop under Clint Kubiak and the Nathaniel Hackett system. What do you think, Mr. Boggins?
Personally, it depends. If we're not investing too hard in it, I'm down. Like if we do like the second of our 2 picks, I don't remember what the later second round pick is, but if
64.
If we did that and got a quarterback, I wouldn't mind it because it's not as much of an investment. Like if we got someone in the first round in this draft, you're really invested in them, right? You're really having to go through. I mean, at least you're trying to, at least, you know what I mean? Like obviously our situation with Paxton Lynch was a little different because he was just absolute trash. But I say this because 2023 QB prospects are so much better, so much better. And I mean, as a fan, it's easy to say I'd rather punt. You know what I mean? I'd much rather get like a Trubisky and keep Locke and then just let them play out the year like as cheap as possible. And then we full swing in 2023. That would be my preference. But if we do get a quarterback and one of them happens to fall to the second round, or let me say that again. If one of them falls to the second round and we do get a quarterback, depends on who it is. I wouldn't be terribly mad at it just because, it's a quarterback and maybe it'll be good. Maybe it'll happen. You never know. I mean, I'm not.
I agree with you. I'm right on the same board with you. Number 9 is.
I reached out to like a bunch of analyst friends the other day and tried to get their who their top QBs are essentially and what they give, and it was pretty unanimous that Malik Willis was their number 1. Some had Matt Corral, and then it kind of just like went from like either Carson Strong to Sam Howell. Who Carson Strong and Sam Howell. It's funny because a lot of people will say that like Malik Willis and maybe not so much Matt Corral, but I've heard decently high for Matt Corral sometimes, maybe top 20. And then it kind of falls off, and then Carson Strong and Sam Howell in the second round, which those two I probably want some of the least. Sam Howell, I'm not a big fan of. He reminds me all I see is Baker Mayfield when I look at him. Like all I see is Baker Mayfield when I watch him play. He is a bit more of a tank when it comes to running. Like he has no problem trying to truck you, but he's also under 6'1".
Yeah.
And then Carson Strong is giant,
and a cannon of an arm.
But like a statue. Like not
Cannot
like
move.
not like Joe Flacco, but like he's already can't move very well, and he has like lingering knee issues. So that's just it makes me very nervous. But I think him and Kenny Pickett are probably the closest to being like day one. You could throw him in there and they can actually perform.
I think Matt Corral, in my opinion, if it wasn't for his injury, is one of the most NFL-ready quarterbacks in the draft, especially playing in the SEC. Malik Willis as well. Malik Willis is definitely one. I think he has a higher ceiling than all the other quarterbacks in the draft, and he's definitely going to take some refinement and some training. But I think he's a guy that definitely can be a good prospect to really sit with. And if Malik Willis falls to 9, and George Payton falls in love with him, and he says, you know what, we got Drew Lock or Mr. Trubisky for 1 more year, and then after that, I'm going to give the reins over to Malik Willis. Especially with Clint Kubiak, who came from the Shanahan system, to really get him on the playbook and get the fundamentals down. I wouldn't be mad at that. But if not, I'd much rather get a tackle and solidify and shut that revolving door of right tackles down, and then bring a guy in when, I mean, you have, my preference would be Garrett Bowles, Dalton Reisner, Graham Glasgow, Quinn Miners, and Trevor Penning. You bring a guy in where you have that offensive line solidified, because, I mean, we had the number 11 offensive line in the NFL with Lloyd Cushenberry and Bobby Massey. So you put in a Mahler at right tackle and you put in a vet at center, you're top 5 easy. So, bring a guy in there with a solidified offensive line, a fantastic backfield, and great weapons. And I think if they find a guy they fall in love with that they really like, what I don't want to happen is George Payton took some heat for not getting a quarterback at 9 last year and taking PS2. Turns out he was right, because he won an award for best draft class in 2021. But what I don't want him to do is, which I don't think he will do because he's a professional, is panic and say, oh, I didn't get one last year, now's the chance to get another one, because I don't want him to think, oh, what are they going to say if I don't get another one this year? I don't think that's him, because I think he definitely can get Desmond Ridder, Carson Strong in the second round.
I don't think he's panicking at all. I mean, it's pretty obvious that, like, unless you just have what's it called, where you just want to get away from whatever you have, like unless you're like pure panic of Drew Lock or whatever, then you might want to go completely into this draft. But other than that, like I would much rather just go Drew Lock the next.
I would too. And Benjamin Albright tweeted this today. He said the front office, Nathaniel Hackett, George Payton, truly want to give Drew Lock a clean slate, and a new shot. Doesn't mean they're not going to leave stones unturned, but they really are going with it as, hey, this is a new opportunity. They really believe that, hey, if Lock's the guy, they're going to give him a new shot. They believe that 100%, and they want to do that. Excuse me. So I'm with you. If most people disagree, I was talking to Mike earlier, and he's big on Mitchell Trubisky. My option is Aaron Rodgers. Option B is my option is Russell Wilson. Option B is Aaron Rodgers. Option C, most people disagree with it, it's Carson Wentz. But he's not the cheapest option. I think if the first two don't come through, I think from the data that's been given, besides his injury issues, I think Carson Wentz may be the best, quote unquote, stopgap to the 2023 rookie class. So EJ comes in. He says Sauce Gardner, David Ojabo, and Jermaine Johnson are my picks at 9 if they are there.
All 3 of them? Well done. Well done, EJ.
I'm big on Sauce Gardner. David Ojabo, I'm not as big on. I watched some film of him. He's definitely got some improvements to make. If he's there, snatch him up. If we don't sign an edge in free agency, then we will get an edge at 9. I can almost guarantee that. But this free agent edge class is really not bad. It's actually pretty decent this year. Jadeveon Clowney, Chandler Jones.
Remember when Jadeveon Clowney was like
who's the most draft pick? Yeah, he was the number one draft pick.
He was like the second coming of Lawrence Taylor.
I don't understand what happened to him.
Injuries for a while. Just kept getting thrown around teams. Like he just can't get settled.
Denver the place to revive Jadeveon Clowney's career?
I don't really want that. I mean, I wouldn't mind it for a certain price, but
he's not an edge rusher. He's a defensive end, isn't he?
What did he play last year? I think he's done either. I mean, he's I don't want to say slender enough, but like he's definitely done stand-up stuff. So it's not like it's going to be completely.
If it didn't work in Cleveland with Myles Garrett, because I mean, what they thought was going to happen was they thought Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney was going to be what Aaron Donald and Von Miller was.
Yep.
And that didn't happen. And Myles Garrett held up his end of the deal.
Oh yeah.
And Jadeveon Clowney did not. It was supposed to be the best. It was supposed to be the best D line in all of football. So if he didn't do that in Cleveland with Myles Garrett on the other side, is he going to do it in Denver? Would he do it in Denver with Bradley Chubb on the other side?
Also doubtful because I was going to say we pressure less, but that's not true with Evero, I guess. I don't know with Evero what kind of scheme we're going to do. I mean, we know we're going to be.
It's about the same. The blitzing is about the same.
Base 3-4. And you'd think he'd kind of be more, Fangio-esque because that's the system that he just essentially came from. But also he said we're not going to get him with 4. We're going to get him with 5 and 6 and 7 and 10. And
so it's going to be. Jadeveon Clowney may be a cheaper price, not than the others, but because he's coming from team to team to team. If I had to get a guy, it'd probably be Chandler Jones.
You're gonna be expensive.
Most experience.
Old,
he will cost some money, but that's a guy on a 3-year contract. And then if they're talking about picking up Bradley Chubb's contract, in my opinion, that's a guy that you can have those duo pass rushers locked up for the next 3 to 4 years. I think that's if they wanted to take that route, I think that's a good route. Chandler Jones has proven time and time again he is a good pass rusher. He can get to the quarterback. He has experience, so I wouldn't hate it. I would that would check a box for me. That, in my opinion, will put us back in the top 10 pass rushing defense in the NFL. So that's definitely where I'm leaning. Bronco Bill says, I don't trust Locke that he will get any better. My opinion on Locke is his confidence was number one, I do believe he did improve from the previous season. Number two, I think with Teddy Bridgewater naming the starter, his confidence was shot. Not in the sense that he can't do it, but in the sense of it removed him from who he is. And what I mean by that is, at the beginning of the season, they said, all right, Drew, in order for you to get the starting position, we need you to improve, turn the ball over less. And then let's say he did that. They gave the position to Teddy. So sitting on the bench all year, you're looking and you say, okay, this is the guy that they gave the starting job to. What does he do that I don't do? And then he witnessed that. And then when he got into the game, he basically was like, okay, don't be Drew, be Teddy. Because that's who they chose. And I think that kind of knocked his confidence down where he's like, okay, they don't want Drew Lock. They want Teddy Bridgewater. So let me, Drew Lock, be Teddy Bridgewater. And I think if he's given a shot, I think with this new system, with Clint Kubiak being the quarterback coach and Nathaniel Hackett calling the Shanahan plays, I think it's a system that might fit him more and allow him to improve but also continue to be himself. What's your position on Luck?
Yeah, I mean, I expect him to improve a bit if. I honestly think that Hackett will utilize his players better and kind of adjust to their strengths better than Shermer did. So I think just that alone can really help. So yeah, I mean, I see him progressing a bit more. Do I necessarily think he is the QB of the future? No, but I'm excited to see maybe a little bit of progression to maybe get himself a contract somewhere else after next year.
Yeah, Rich agrees with you. He says Bronco Bill, I do, or at the very least, he'd be a better fit in a Hackett system, in my opinion. I agree. I think when he went in there, he was very confined and constricted to. I didn't get the starting job. This guy got the starting job, so let me do what this guy did. And people are like, well, Drew wasn't as productive as Teddy, but he didn't turn the ball over. And I think, well, that's because in the back of his head it was, okay, they wanted Teddy, let me beat Teddy. And I think with the Hackett system, I think absolutely, I believe he will progress and improve. And like you said, will he progress so much and shine so much that he'll be the franchise QB? Odds are probably not. Is there a possibility? Absolutely. Would I root for that? I'd love for us to have a homegrown franchise QB and let that be that, and with the QB carousel, I'd love that. So I mean, we just gotta wait and see. No stone unturned. EJ says Harold Landry or Hassan Reddick are my free agent edge rushers I would pursue. I have to look more into Harold Landry, but I did look into Hassan Reddick. He had 11 sacks last year. He's a small edge rusher. He's the size of a strong safety. He's 6'1", 237, which caught me off guard, but he had 11 sacks, which is impressive. And Carolina had a top 10 defense. I think what they say, his salary cap was like 1 point something million. So he's definitely on the cheaper side. Hassan Reddick is definitely an option up there. And
Landry's available, huh?
Hassan Reddick is 27 years old, and he's never missed a game. He's been healthy, and he's ever since he got drafted, I believe in 2017, he's never missed a game. He's played every single game, except one game last year, and I think it was for personal reasons. It wasn't injury. So he's young, he's healthy, and he had 11 sacks last year. He's a high energy, quick young guy coming off the edge. So definitely on the Hassan Reddick train. Deanna Hendry, new name, welcome. She says, how do you send money to help you guys stay on air? Thank you for that. We're currently not on that option yet, but if you subscribe to the YouTube channel, MHRT Network, you'll help us get there, and then you will be the first to know when we get there. But we appreciate you considering helping us by sending money, but we don't have that option. So the way you can help us is like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share the URL. Deanna, thank you. Cheers to you. Welcome to the NRW crew. We hope to see you next week. And don't forget to check out the podcast on Tuesdays at the same time. WizKid in the house. What's up, WizKid? He said, I think Drew Lock will start. That's a possibility. I think if you're looking through the free agency, if you're looking at Jameis Winston, Marcus Mariota, Mitchell Trubisky, the possibility of Carson Wentz, Jimmy G, which I think your dad was telling me earlier, I think Jimmy G will stay in San Francisco. I think with his injury coming up and his surgery and his recovery time, that'll be hard to offload. Mr. Bogdan's saying no. You think it won't be hard to offload?
No, I mean maybe, but you can.
You're saying no to Denver. No to Denver.
No, I don't want Denver. No. I don't want that. I mean, I was talking to another buddy about it, and I initially thought he had said a first-round pick he would give up a first-round pick for him, and I said absolutely not.
No, he's not worth a first-round pick.
I wouldn't want to give up, but like in a perfect world, I'd give up a third-round pick for Jimmy G. Realistically, it would probably be a second-round pick
because he's been to the Super Bowl, I think, twice. No, he's been to the Super Bowl multiple times. He won one with the Patriots. He didn't participate, but he's a Super Bowl champion. He's been to the Super Bowl on his own. He's been to the NFC Championship, beat Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. Yep. So he's got some validity and value to his name. I think he's hit his ceiling.
He drives the bus all the way to where you need to go, at least. So
I don't know who said this on Twitter, but they said Mike told me today. He said he in the Shanahan system, he capped out. I mean, you could say he can, and I did mention that the offense of the Broncos has more weapons than they had Deebo Samuel, and George Kittle. They had Trent Williams, a good offensive line. But I truly believe the Broncos' offensive roster is better than the 49ers. But I think in that Shanahan system, I think he hit his ceiling.
I don't know about better, but I would say that the Shanahan system is tailors to QBs a lot better because you lean a lot on your running game and a lot of quick reads. And so I think that Locke would progress a little better in it, and that's why Jimmy G looks better in it. But I would rather not pay that. I would rather not pay for Jimmy G. I would rather start if we were starting Locke, that means one, that we didn't spend a lot in free agency and or the draft. Two, how many fingers am I holding up? 3. There's been 3 points so far that we are actually going to swing on 2023, which I will be excited for.
And EJ comes in and he says, if Locke is our starter next year, Peyton struck out in free agency bad, which I doubt would happen.
That's not true. That's not true. I mean, like you can only do so much. You can only do so much. Like
last year, Teddy Bridgewater, the guy coming in, people put that on George Payton.
You know what? It was the coaching staff that wanted him.
And there wasn't much in free agency last year to really Teddy Bridgewater was the best. I think Matthew Stafford.
Yeah,
I think he should have pulled the trigger on Matthew Stafford.
He tried, but then they countered, and also Matthew Stafford wanted to go to LA because he's from LA. His boy, I don't remember the pitcher that plays for the Dodgers. His like best friend is over there.
Kershaw.
He wanted to go to LA.
Okay,
so
and he won a Super Bowl. He won a Super Bowl.
Happening.
So, other than Matthew Stafford, that was really the best. You had Mitch Trubisky, who
then
went
the
to
Aaron Rodgers
Buffalo.
reports from last year too, and
then you had Andy Dalton,
and no one wanted Mitch Trubisky last year. Stop it! Like
I don't know why they do now. I don't understand what happened.
It's all of a sudden changed a bunch because he played a couple games decently well for Brian Dable. So
he may have learned more. They may have think that the coaching may have brought out the best in him.
Like I'm saying, like I said before, like if you throw Mitch Trubisky in there, Drew Lock in there, one of them might play decent enough to. I think both of them have higher ceilings than Teddy Bridgewater. So,
what's the same with Gardner Minshew, isn't it? When you put him in a different system and he seems to play better.
He makes things happen. I think that's what people really like about Gardner Minshew. Yes. Like I don't even want to say he's good. Like he makes things happen.
He's a good improviser.
Like, he does his job well enough to maybe win a game. And that's
why didn't have to trade for him, but his cap hit is nothing. Why hasn't his name been in the talks? Carson Wentz's name has been in the talks for trading in a lot more, and Jimmy G is as well, but Gardner Minshew has not.
For what? For Denver?
For anybody. I haven't seen Gardner Minshew's name pop up for anybody. I've seen Wentz pop up for trade and Jimmy G pop up for trade, but I haven't seen Gardner Minshew, who's the backup in Philadelphia, whose cap hit is less than both of them, and you'd have to trade for less. So what's the I don't know if you've seen some chatter about it, but I'm curious as to why there isn't about Gardner.
Yeah. I mean, I've definitely heard that as an option for sure. They talked about it on BCT also. It's an option. Like this is what I'm saying. Like at this point, you're kind of just like,
everybody's an option.
Throwing a pebble in there, see what it hits. Like at this point, it's like who cares? Grab one of them, figure it out, make it run for a year, and swing on a Will Levis or a CJ Stroud or a Bryce Young next year or a Richardson or like there's
I can definitely see Bryce Young.
There's so many options.
I don't think the Broncos are going to land low enough in the draft order to get one of them. But EJ has a good point. He says we can't let Locke be the only guy in the room.
No,
I'd be okay with running it back with Locke and then drafting guys like Desmond Ridder. Is set to go in the second round. So if we pick him at number 40 and we decide, you know what, we're going to this is Locke's last year of the contract. Let's see how he does in this new system, new coaching, younger people. And I think having guys around Locke that have the confidence in him, and that are all about the players and technology. For example, Nathaniel Hackett is big on music. Drew Lock is too. I mean, I'm not grasping at straws or anything or taking a stab in the dark. I'm just looking at the camaraderie in it and how that affects the players. When you go to work or you go to the office and you have a boss or the team that surrounds you and wants you. And there's a report that came out that said even there were some players that even wanted Drew over Teddy. And you have guys that, I'm pretty sure Drew Lock's in the playbook, and his face is in the playbook right now. And Clint Kubiak is they're talking every day. And there was like I said, me and Mike were talking earlier. And the reason why Rich Scangarello, Drew Lock had more success with Rich Scangarello is because Scangarello schemed away from Drew Lock's shortcomings. And Scangarello came from the Shanahan system. And as you said, the Shanahan system is more quarterback friendly.
Mm-hmm.
So you take Drew Lock, who's 4 years in, he's made some improvements where you not necessarily have to scheme away from his shortcomings, but scheme toward his strengths with a younger coaching staff who are more in tune, more confident, have more camaraderie. I think it could be a big deal. And they want that cannon arm. They want that guy that can go out and play action. As we all know, Drew Lock is really good in play action. But, Lock can't be the only guy in the room. I think a guy like, Desmond Ridder in the second round, Lock takes off and you get Desmond Ridder in the second round. And then the next season, let's say you get Bryce Young or CJ Stroud, let him battle it out.
Very, very possible. Although everyone should really look up Will Levis, though. Like
Will Levis.
I'll send you a video later that will make you go, what? Like that.
Who is
exactly like that. He's a quarterback, and he is insane. He's like, this is what I'm saying. There are like 4 quarterbacks in the top 4. There are like 4 quarterbacks, debatably 5 quarterbacks that would be number 1 this year. Like not even a question. Or like not like number 1 quarter QB in the draft, and actually number 1 overall for sure. Absolutely.
Who's he play for?
He plays for Memphis, I believe. Or no, sorry, Kentucky.
Rich Scangarello is the offensive coordinator in Kentucky now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be interesting to see Rich Scangarello and Will Levis next year to see how they complement each other. I'll see how he does reacting to Rich Scangarello and that Shanahan system, because that's definitely going to be somebody to watch. So you heard it first. Check out Will Levis in Kentucky next year. Dreamweaver says no more Band-Aids, no Cousins, Jimmy, or Winston. Kirk Cousins is staying in Minnesota, I believe. If Kirk Cousins was available, honestly, I'd pick him over anybody else. Jimmy G or Jameis Winston. I'm not high on Jameis Winston. I think
really. He would be my number 1 pick if
Jameis Winston.
He's the only one in that's in this free agency thing that I would be like, ooh, maybe we can win some games, like legitimately.
You think he's high on George Payton's board?
I don't know. That's.
I mean, he's still younger. I know Jameis Winston can put up numbers. But the question is, has he progressed and learned not to turn the ball over as much?
I mean, he did. He played very well with the Saints until.
Well, they were saying he was going back and forth between Taysom Hill, and they were starting Taysom Hill over Jameis Winston.
They just got
injured.
They were just doing Shanahan does the same thing with Trey Lance and Jimmy G, like where they throw in the athletic one that's, you know what I mean? Like it's kind of the same thing where they'll just throw in an athletic one to run wildcat and it's, you're like, oh my gosh, are they going to throw it or they're going to run it? And they always run it. So I don't know why they do that.
I know the Pittsburgh Steelers are interested in him. I think he has an option to stay with the Saints, even though they paid Taysom Hill. I don't think he stays with the Saints. I think they're just going to go with Taysom Hill.
The way Taysom Hill's contract is, they're not like necessarily committed to Taysom Hill. It's like meant to like grab cap, but not work against their cap. Like it makes it so that's very, very, very maneuverable.
You think they stay with? Do you think they stay with? You think Winston stays in New Orleans, or you think he goes?
Oh, Winston stays in New Orleans. I mean, if I were New Orleans, I would definitely, because there's not really, I don't know what else you'd do.
I wouldn't be surprised if they went back after Teddy Bridgewater again.
Oh, I would. I definitely would. You already have, if you have Jameis Winston there, and I would over Teddy Bridgewater easily.
I can see Teddy in Pittsburgh as well. Teddy Bridgewater is actually going to be a hot commodity in free agency. I think he'll play somewhere. I'm just not sure where. I know it won't be in Denver. George Payton said he's an option. I don't think he really is.
Mm-hmm. I think he just loves the guy, and he's trying to help him out, and especially with free agents. I honestly don't know. I mean, he'll probably get a backup job next year, or maybe I could see him with like Washington or something.
I was just about to say that. I could definitely see him in Washington. I could definitely see him in Washington.
Although I'm pretty sure they're going to be trying to make a splash of some sort, because they just changed their name. You know what I mean? I doubt they'll just go from changing their name to Teddy Bridgewater. You know what I mean? Like, they're trying to create some oomph. They want to make some noise. You know what I mean? They want to sell tickets, because that organization has seen some stuff of lately. And
if that's the case, who's the guy to make a splash with? Carson Wentz?
I don't think it's necessarily going to be like anything necessarily cool, like just something that they'll make a move on, like even if it's drafting a quarterback, like something new and fresh, essentially. And Teddy Bridgewater is not new and fresh. I guess Carson Wentz isn't much more, but he was almost an NFL MVP, so maybe
Super Bowl champion, and he was in the NFC East before, so they had to see him twice a year. Dave says Matt Ryan for a third or later.
I don't think that contract's movable.
Would you want Matt Ryan?
Yeah. This is another situation where it's like not for the cost of whatever, because you're at least given a second. He's 30.
Yeah, I think he has the largest cap hit in the NFL.
Hold on, I'll have to
46 million. I think Matt Ryan has the largest cap hit in the NFL.
Oh, see, this is how bad my memory is. It was like I just looked at it, I guess, recently. Trade post June 24. I think we just talked about this in the last pod. About 25 mil dead cap for them.
Yeah, he has a huge cap hit.
But it would be 24 mil for us. It's not bad. That's like league middle of the road. That's post June. Yeah, if they traded them before June, it would be $41 million dead cap.
They're not doing that. I don't even know if Atlanta's even interested in moving on from Matt Ryan. I think Atlanta is not even looking. They're not even the quarterback talk. From what I've seen, they're looking for an edge. They're going defense in the draft. So I don't think Matt Ryan's an option. But a third round at what, 24 million for what? What would you sign him for? 3 years? I'd do it. I mean, you'd basically doing, I'd do it. He's.
Well, his contract, let's see, you'd be paying 25 the first year and 28 the second year. I mean, you're still
never mind.
I mean, you're still like middle of the road as far as QBs go. I mean, but he is 38 years old. So it depends on, and he's older, not mobile, doesn't have a crazy arm anymore.
That's what Rich is saying. He's saying he's not mobile, which puts us at a disadvantage. And I think
that's what we were talking about. We were talking about Matt Ryan when we had Graham Glasgow on, and I almost put my foot in my mouth because I said that he's not mobile, and it depends on the offensive line, and how our offensive line is like middle of the road. And I was like, oh, but not Graham Glasgow. Graham Glasgow's a demigod.
We're also right outside of top 10. I think our offensive line is right outside top 10.
Yeah.
And I think one thing that people aren't really I think one thing that was shown in the Kansas City game is Drew Lock's mobility really, me personally, it really impressed me with his 2 rushing touchdowns.
I think one thing that people forget too is like things that hurt offensive line numbers. I mean, this works both ways, but it's scheming and quarterback play. So like our scheming wasn't necessarily good. Like if guys aren't, if and I guess receivers too, like if receivers aren't getting open, like the quarterback has to wait longer, and you can only wait for. I mean, what's the at league average? Like under 3 seconds.
Yeah,
under 3 seconds.
2.7 seconds or something like that.
So you don't got much time. And if you're a quarterback that's going through your progressions and you don't know where to go because you're messing up, there's another situation. If you're getting outside the pocket, that's one of the worst things you can do unless you're very mobile and you know what you're doing. Because then that's where holds come from. That's where they can't protect you anymore. So, it's
Bernardo Garcia, new name. Welcome to Nothing Rhymes. Cheers to you. He says, where does Bridgewater go? And that's what we were just discussing. Washington's an option. Pittsburgh is definitely an option. What other teams?
I honestly can't see him in Pittsburgh. I honestly can't.
I don't think he's going back to Carolina. He's not going back to Carolina.
No.
What about Tampa Bay? Tampa Bay's in need of
I'd see Jimmy G there before I'd see
you think Jimmy G's just gonna follow Tom Brady?
I mean, he's gone. I honestly don't know if Teddy Bridgewater might end up as a backup somewhere. To be honest with you, he doesn't move the needle enough to really, to really get you anywhere. So I don't.
He doesn't. I mean, Pat Shermer was a terrible offensive coordinator, but I mean, when you look at the talent that surrounded him, and Denver,
maybe Indy, because they have such a good running game.
Yes,
that's the only.
And they don't have
the
offensive weapons. Aren't they have Michael Pittman? I believe T.Y. Hilton's getting ready to retire. They don't really have those big name, big game receivers that you have to get the ball to.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with you in Indianapolis with Jonathan Taylor and Teddy Bridgewater being a game manager.
Good offensive line.
Yeah, good offensive line, and he can get the ball where it needs to be, hand the ball off, and get the ball to Michael Pittman. That would work, but they have to offload Carson Wentz first.
Oh yeah, that seems like that's.
I can see Carson Wentz in Washington.
But that's the thing though. Yeah, gosh, I don't know. See now I'm thinking like if you're really gonna get rid of Carson Wentz and get Teddy Bridgewater, like, yeah, you know what I mean. So I don't know why they want. I don't
why
think start
Indianapolis. Anyway. Explain to me, why do they want to get rid of? Why is offloading Carson Wentz an option? Is it because of the Jacksonville game or?
No. From what I've heard is that it's more of like a personality thing, apparently, and it's because he got booted out of Philly, and then his offensive coordinator that he won a Super Bowl with, and he had him and Frank Reich were like super tight in Philly. Now Frank Reich went to Indianapolis and now the head coach over there. Well, then they traded Carson over there, and now Carson's getting booted out of there. So, and they're going to be kind of like hit with some dead cap for doing that if they get rid of him.
18 million, I believe.
Yeah. So it's like there has to be something. I mean, from what I've heard is it's like personality things, but I don't know necessarily what that is. But I mean, sometimes if you like butt heads with the GM, that's like your quickest ticket out of there.
And we don't want that in Denver.
Yeah, just for a certain price, maybe, but I would like to see more on that before.
Well, the issues and why it is, and
yeah, but it's not like our front office wouldn't look into it. You know what I mean? Like I'm sure that the actual front offices are very aware of any specific situation, like in the know of what it is, and like you will be able to see if they can offload it. Then there's obviously some real issues there.
And make no mistake, Carson Wentz is definitely an option for the Broncos. Make no mistake.
Oh yeah,
he's on George Payton's radar. We're waiting to see what Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson says. I'm honestly exhausted from it. I just want to know so that we can start filling our holes and making our moves. That's it. Once we know. Let's go out there. Let's take care of everything else. Edge, tackle.
What was that? You want to start so you can start what?
making our moves.
No, that was the first thing you said. Something
I know what you're trying to get at, and I'm
Yeah,
not going back
I know. I was just wondering. Make a
I'm not
t-shirt.
going back there. EJ says, let's get Ritter in round 2 to compete with Locke. That would be nice.
I'm just not a huge Ritter guy. Like
I have to watch.
Listen, I like him for sometimes, but then other times it goes from like some really good throws or like mobility or whatnot, like just like all around looking good, to all of a sudden he just throws the worst ball you've ever seen, and it's like where did that come from? Like you just threw it into the stands, that kind of stuff. And he's very skinny. Very skinny. He's like 6'3" and just like a string bean.
So who would you rather have, Desmond Ritter or Carson Strong in the second round? Because those are the two quarterbacks that are falling to us in the second round.
I mean, I honestly would just like you flip a coin. There's things I dislike about both of them, and there are things that I kind of like about. I guess. Oh yeah, I don't know because I like Desmond Ritter's mobility, and I'm a big fan, or I think mobility is pretty essential. And so the fact that Carson Strong doesn't really move very much, it really is a bummer for me. And your intangibles have to be like next level if you can't move. Like you have to know where you're going to go in almost every circumstance.
Yes.
That's where I'm like, oh. So I don't know. At that point, you might as well go like who I've heard that the Broncos have been looking at Ellaby in maybe the I don't know. I mean, it's if the rumors are true, maybe even late second or third. I don't want late second, but maybe in the third. He has a bit more of a higher ceiling, but he's very, very, very raw. So
he went to UCLA, if I'm correct.
No. He's Western Michigan.
Okay.
Western
Michigan? Yeah. Okay. I was looking at somebody else. Richie says the front office and owner will be too busy in front of Congress and in the courtroom. In my opinion, Teddy is perfect to fix the Commander's image. I can see why. Because he's a great person. He's a good leader. I actually see what you're talking about. Yeah. But
they had Fitzpatrick there. And what'd that do?
I think Teddy Bridgewater is a much better character person. And honestly,
Fitzpatrick?
Yeah.
I mean,
for the Commander's image.
I don't know about that. Like everybody loves Fitzpatrick.
He says Wentz has a tough contract to move, similar to Matt Ryan. But unlike Matt Ryan, the Colts are more than willing to listen and to talk about it. So if you're looking at the edge free agency, or you're looking at the edge draft, are you going draft or you going free agency?
Draft.
Okay. Who's your guy?
Oh, that's a big question. I like a lot. I like a lot. I like Boye Mafe. I like Jermaine.
You like Jermaine Johnson too? Yeah,
Jermaine Johnson. He's solid. He's solid. I don't think he doesn't have as high as a ceiling as like Ojabo, but he's very solid. He's long,
very quick, very fast,
very big.
Yes, I love his size and his quickness off the edge.
Yeah, he also won. Oh my gosh, what's that college award? Not the Biletnikoff. That's receivers. I forget what it is for defensive player, like best defensive player. But anyways, at FSU, I mean, we're not going to get Aiden Hutchinson.
I doubt we get Kayvon Thibodeau.
Yeah, doubtful as well. I know you like Karlaftis. He's one of those guys that's good, right? He's good, but he doesn't pop in any area. And if you're gonna
than everyone else on the board.
Yeah, he's very, very slow. And
he's you're gonna get someone but he's slow.
Yeah, if you're gonna get someone that's someone that's really good, then you might as well just get Jermaine Johnson, who's like just longer and has a bit higher of a ceiling. I
can definitely see if we don't, if we get a swing tackle or an athletic tackle in free agency, or later on in the draft. I could definitely see this trading back to get Jermaine Johnson.
Yeah, there's also Trayvon Walker. I wouldn't be surprised if Trayvon Walker from Georgia. Anybody from Georgia.
Yeah.
Anybody from that Georgia front seven.
I love oh my gosh. I love what's the other guy's name that
Jordan
in the mock
Davis.
draft. No, Jordan Davis didn't fall to me.
Wyatt
the guy on the other side. Yes.
Oh yeah. Devontae Wyatt. Yeah. Yep. He's a big fat boy.
I would love to trade back and get Jordan Davis though.
Yeah.
Just clog that middle up. Just clog it up.
I love me some Jordan Davis. The concerns for his ability to stay on the field are definitely real, as far as like he gets winded very
good
easily.
Thing we have Mike Purcell in the second year of his contract, so they can rotate, and he doesn't have to carry the load. But to put that guy in on first and second down and just clog that middle up and push that pocket, oh my gosh!
But that's why I think he's probably going to fall, because he's in. Are you going to spend a first round pick on someone that's not going to play?
Oh, he's not. He's not going to make it. I mean, he's not going to make it out of the first round.
Jordan Davis?
He's getting drafted in the first round. There's no way he falls to the second.
Maybe, yeah.
If he falls to the second, we better snatch him up with quickness, with all the quickness. But I don't think he does. But unfortunately, we have more urgent holes to fill. There it is again. We have some areas that need more improvement. I don't think DB is a pressing matter, especially if we're planning on re-signing Bryce Callahan. I think that definitely. I think for 2022, I don't think that's as big of an urgent need. Edge definitely is. But like George Payton said, you want to fill those guys with free agency and then go to the draft for depth. I don't think. I think
your boy Desmond Ritter just ran his 40.
What do you run?
4.5.
That's pretty good.
It's not bad. That's good for a quarterback.
Yeah, that is. That's actually pretty good. I don't think the only start now player that we would need is probably an edge guy. And maybe a tackle, and definitely a tackle.
Definitely.
Like I said, I'm big on putting Trevor Penning and Quinn Miners on the same side and just letting Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon just have fun.
You should watch some Daniel Falele.
I watched some film on him. He's going in the second round. Is he a right tackle or left tackle?
Right tackle. And will he go in the second round?
I've seen most mock drafts I've seen. He makes it out of the first round. He doesn't get drafted in the first round.
We'll see. We'll see. I would not be surprised if he went in the first round.
But if we went 9 at number 9, if we got an edge guy, let's say Kayvon Thibodeau fell to 9. If we drafted an edge at 9, we're not re-signing any of the free agents. Stephen Weatherly won't stay. Malik Reed won't stay.
I don't agree with that. I think we need depth. I definitely think that.
You have Jonathan Cooper on one side, but I don't think that Jonathan Cooper would still be a rotational guy. But if he drafts him at 9, he has to start.
Yeah. I definitely. I mean, I get everybody loves Jonathan Cooper, and he played decently well. He definitely suffered in the running in the run game, but he's also a 7th round pick. Like, it's not, you know what I mean. So can he be something? Absolutely. I'm not saying because he's a 7th round pick he's not going to be anything, but I'm saying if you spend on a first round pick, they're probably going to have a quite a bit higher ceiling.
I'd have no problem with getting edge at 9 and Falale in the second. But if that's not the case, my idea, re-sign Bryce Callahan, get a free agent edge and for 3 years, and get Trevor Penning. Shut down that carousel of right tackle and really get an offensive line for years ago. That's just solid.
Kenny Pickett's about to run. Oh gosh, Kenny Pickett's his first 40 was 4.67.
That's not bad. Quarterbacks have gotten faster. That's not bad. I just hope this hand conversation doesn't get in his head.
Oh, that was worse. Okay, yeah, we ran worse. 4.69. 69.
4.7.
Yeah. I mean, you're never expecting a quarterback to be super fast, right?
No.
But this is what I'm saying. Like, if Malik would have ran,
he would have probably ran.
It would have gone 4.4 or something. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, he would have went. But here's the hoping. Evan O'Neal falls to number 9.
Yeah. I mean, there's been a lot of back and forth between whether or not they like or Evan Neal is the top or Iquanu is the top. So people
From
are
what I've
also
seen,
people
Evan
are also
O'Neill's not. He's one Jaguars are drafting Evan Neal. He's not falling out of number one. From what I've seen, Jaguars are getting a guy to protect Trevor Lawrence, which makes the absolute most sense.
maybe. But Iquanu is also very much in play.
But
Also
like you said, with
Charles
Falale,
Cross is
I don't
also
think
someone that might be someone that might make top 10.
I don't think
Falale
Falale makes it to the second round because I think Cincinnati may pick him up at the number 31 pick.
Maybe.
Because that's what they're drafting the first 2-3 rounds. Free agency is definitely protect Joe Burrow.
Everybody keeps saying online that they're going to pick up Ryan Jensen for their center position from Tampa Bay, which would be very good.
Yeah, you give Joe Burrow a good offensive line, they're going to be dangerous.
Desmond Ritter 4.49.
Desmond Ritter ran a 4.4.
4.49. Woo. Okay.
What's his? You said he's 6'3". How much? What is he? What, 210, 215?
He's 6'3" and 3/4. It looks like 211.
He is small.
Yeah, he's very skinny. 10-inch hands.
But if you put some weight on him, he won't. Honestly, if you put some weight on him and he drops to a 4.55, I'd be okay with that.
You just got to be careful with quarterbacks. So you don't want to put too much because like any of that type of stuff messes with your throwing motion. So
well, I mean that's why
when you bulk
if you
up.
put on weight like that and you're in the weight room, you immediately have to go out with the quarterback coach or your personal trainer. You gotta throw 1,000 passes that day. Make sure your body, your throwing arm gets you and your throwing motion gets used to the weight you put on. But then again, 211 is very small.
Yeah,
you get hit hard. It's hard to get back up when these big ass dudes are
especially 211 at 6'4". Like you're skinny.
Yeah.
You're skinny.
That's dangerous. So that's why I said you got to put some weight on him. Maybe beef him up to 220.
Hopefully, that'd be great.
225 at the most. His first rookie season, if he's not starting, I'd have him beefing up. Still continue to work on his speed and continue his throwing motion and work on his footwork so he doesn't get slow, but his body adjusts to the weight he puts on because that's definitely a big deal because you get hit one time by one of these edge rushing guys, Joey Bosa or something like that in the AFC West. Oh, gosh. Oh, my gosh. Yep. You get blindsided hit, you may not be getting back up.
Absolutely.
But Teddy Bridgewater, I think, is the same size. Teddy Bridgewater's not a big guy.
That's who?
I think Desmond Ritter and Teddy Bridgewater might have the same measurements.
No.
I don't think Teddy Bridgewater weighs that much.
No, Teddy Bridgewater is not a big dude.
No, that's what I'm saying.
I think he's like 6. Let's see.
He's let's see. 6'2", 215. He's the exact same. He's the exact same. Then again, he's
2 feet shorter.
He's
not 2 feet. 2 inches shorter.
He's an inch shorter than Desmond Ritter, but 4 pounds heavier. So I mean, he's but he got hit and was out for 3 games for a concussion. So
I made him shorter.
He's 6'2", so he's an inch shorter than Desmond Ritter, but 4 pounds
inches.
heavier.
2 inches.
Well, yeah, I guess you can tell him. You can give him 6'4". But you get hit as a small guy and you go down like that.
Oh, Chris Olave. Ooh, here it's gonna. The people are thinking this might break it. I'm gonna watch it.
Break the record for
the. Yeah. Chris Olave is receiver for Ohio State. I'm thinking he's gonna run like in the 4. It's definitely 4.3s. Woo! 4.26.
I was close. 4.26. Where's she projected to land at?
First round.
Probably
Absolutely.
Green Bay.
Yeah. Oh, maybe. Yeah.
Green Bay.
My God.
Detroit or
that's his first run too.
I can see the Giants picking him up.
They just drafted the same exact receiver. They just drafted Kadarius Toney last year. I don't see that happening at all. And they just paid Galladay he's like the highest paid receiver in the league. So I don't think so. But Detroit, maybe Green Bay, yeah. There are definitely some possibilities.
Yeah. But that's a wrap for us, guys. So we appreciate you joining us today with the NRW crew. Go check out the Combine. Let us know. You can tweet Mr. Boggins at Mr_Boggins or myself at nothing_rhymes_. Let us know what you think. Thank you all for joining us today for another episode of Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue. Make sure you guys keep a lookout for the tomorrow. I will be pre-recording the new draft special, the second episode of Rough Draft, covering a certain draft prospect. So check that out. Don't forget to check out MHRT on Tuesdays at 7654 and Nothing Rhymes on Thursdays at 7654. And on Wednesdays, Bronco Bill on Broncos Breakdown, a pre-recorded show comes out as well. So make sure you guys check those out. If you liked what you saw, like this video, subscribe to the channel, MHRT Network, and share this URL. So, we're just going to KB82 says he's running 4.26 as well. All right, KB82, video or it didn't happen. But thank you guys for joining us.
426.
Please come back with us on Tuesdays and next Thursdays. And
Please.
hopefully we'll have some more news on the Aaron Rodgers front, Russell Wilson front, or anything else. It's a slow news week, so thank you all for joining us. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share this URL. I want to thank Mr. Boggins for definitely filling in for Johnny today and bringing his off-season insight. That's a good podcast
Off-season
name.
simp.
That's a good podcast name, Off-Season Insight. His off-season insight and off-season knowledge with us today. So, guys, hopefully we'll see you next time, and we are out.